Hello everyone and welcome to Music Theory with Gim. In this installment of Analyzing Harmony, we're going to delve into Equipment Tell, or the shop theme, from Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow on the Nintendo DS. Before we get into any music theory, however, let's take a listen to the music. The theme is set in the tonality of A, with its mode being minor. This is immediately implied by the opening four measures horizontally stating E7, the 5-7, with E sustained in the bass and a scalar descent of what can be referred to as the harmonic minor scale. Though there are a couple of interesting things that can be said about these introductory measures, we're going to save said comments for the installment of Analyzing Melody featuring this particular theme. Anyways, horizontally these measures imply an E7, which implies the tonality of A, and the minor mode is indicated by the presence of C and F, which are the minor third and minor sixth relative to A. The implied tonality in its mode is then confirmed when we hear A minor, the 1, in measure 5, which is followed by B major, the altered 2, G sharp diminished 7, the 7 diminished 7, and then we hear again A minor, the 1. B major can be viewed as a 5 of 5, making G sharp diminished 7 either a substitution of 5, or it can be viewed as an incomplete or rootless 5-7 flat 9 in first inversion. Either viewpoint is understandable, but we'll simply leave these chords labeled as an altered 2 chord progressing to a 7 diminished 7. In the following four measures, we hear that the harmony of these four measures is repeated verbatim, but with a different melody. Altogether, these measures are designed to present and then expand the tonic area, with B major and G sharp diminished 7 acting as prolongational chords, and they specifically function as consecutive neighbor chords. In measures 13 through 16, we hear this same harmonic design, except now the chords are D minor, E major, C sharp diminished 7, and then again D minor. When labeling these chords, we'll label them as a minor 1, altered 2, and 7 diminished 7, but we'll make known that they are, in relation to the big picture, operating relative to A by placing a brace as well as the minor 4 label beneath these chords. With this in mind, it is very important to note that E major is not functioning as a structural 5 harmony relative to the tonality of A. Instead, it is operating as a prolongational chord relative to D minor. Rather than repeat these chords in the next four measures like before, we hear G sharp diminished 7 over B, the 7 diminished 6-5, in measures 17 and 18, followed by D minor, the 4, and E7, the 5-7. In this case, E7 is functioning as a structural 5 chord relative to A, and in conjunction with D minor, we hear the formation of a half cadence. Though G sharp diminished 7 over B clearly pulls us away from the subdominant area, its being in first inversion leaves me hearing it as an intermedial chord, preparing the true arrival of the structural dominant in measure 20. Following the half cadence, all of the harmony of the previous 8 measures repeats, meaning the half cadence will resolve to A minor, the 1, as expected. After playing through the same harmony again, however, the resolution to A minor is delayed by an additional 4 measures due to the theme hitting its loop point and returning to the introductory measures sounding E7. Now that we have an understanding of the chords measure to measure in each phrase, let's take a look at the harmony from a global perspective. So the theme opens with a 5-7, and then in the next 8 measures we hear a prolongation of the tonic area. Following this, the music shifts into the subdominant area, prolonging it with the same chordal design. We then depart from the subdominant area and enter into the domain of the dominant, which ultimately forms a half cadence. And as stated before, we'll then hear a repeat of the harmony aside from the introductory 5-7. So looking at the theme from a global perspective, it's pretty easy to see that structurally this theme is built around a simple harmonic progression of 1-4-5. But rather than be so plainly stated, we hear a variety of prolongational chords, with many of them providing the theme a touch of chromaticism. All in all, this is a very functional piece of music, and it's a great example of solid minor mode harmony. Anyways, now that we have an understanding of the theme both locally and globally, let's take another listen to it and then bring this episode to a close. For those of you that are patrons, you can expect to receive a PDF containing this analysis. As mentioned earlier, this theme will be featured in an episode of Analyzing Melody, and you can expect to receive access to said analysis at least a month in advance. And as always, it is encouraged that should you have any thoughts or questions about this analysis or the theme as a whole, reach out to me. For those of you that are not patrons but would like to support these endeavors, be certain to subscribe to the channel and click the notifications bell, like the video, comment below, and share this video as often as you can on social media platforms. If you feel the urge to take your support to the next level, hop on over to patreon.com/gim and consider pledging some coin. If you're not a user of Patreon or simply would like to make a non-recurring financial contribution, you can do so at coffee.com/musictheorywithgim. These videos do take a lot of time and effort, so any support on your end is greatly appreciated. Either way, thank you for watching this episode of Music Theory with Gim.